Sinners might just be the best movie of the year. Hello everybody, my name is Jesse and welcome to my channel. Ryan Coogler's newest movie, Sinners, has been out for a little while now. I was finally able to check it out a few days ago, so here are my thoughts on it. So going into this movie, my expectations were through the roof. This movie wasn't exactly on my radar very much for the first couple months of the year. It wasn't on my most anticipated lists or anything like that. I didn't even really know too much about it. All I knew was it starred Michael B. Jordan and Hailee Steinfeld. It was directed by Ryan Coogler. That was enough to get me sort of interested because I like all of those names, but I still didn't know enough about it to be fully excited about it until the reviews started coming in. Once early reviews started flooding in from critics saying it was a masterpiece, one of the best movies of the year, it quickly became one of my most anticipated for the year. And now that I've finally seen it, I can confidently say it will be one of my favorite movies of the year, at least, if not my favorite, if not the best. I don't usually like labeling movies and TV as the best of the year long before the movie is even over. We're not even halfway through this year yet. But I do think this film has a high chance of claiming that title. I have a lot of thoughts on this movie, so let's get into specifics. The film follows two twin brothers nicknamed Smoke and Stack, both played by Michael B. Jordan. And Michael B. Jordan gives maybe the best dual role I've ever seen, at least one of the best, and it's probably one of my favorite performances of Michael B. Jordan's career. Many times when you see a dual role like this, I think sometimes it just kind of almost doesn't feel right. Sometimes the performances kind of suffer from it. One sometimes can be a little bit stronger than the other. I don't think that happens here. Michael B. Jordan is able to make Smoke and Stack feel like two different characters. He's able to give them both different personalities. The costume design does help a little bit with that. They are dressed quite differently, but even if you dress them the same, the way they speak, the way they make decisions, their walk, their smile even, he is just able to give them different personalities in the most mundane of ways. So even if you were to dress them the same, you could tell them apart while still having that twin dynamic. They still feel like twin brothers that have the same ideas and the same goals, and I loved that. I think it was part of why the movie worked so well. Hailee Steinfeld is also great here. She continues to prove she's a great actress, but Miles Caton is who really impressed me in this film. He was a massive standout. He plays Sammy, or Preacher Boy, he's also referred to in this film. And this is Miles Caton's first acting role. He's mainly a musician, and after seeing this film, I think he has an incredible future ahead of him. He's insanely talented. You see that from the very first scene he's in, and you could really almost call him the main character in this film. His decision to play music, his love for it, is at the front and center of this movie. Sammy is the heart and soul of Sinners, and his love for music is kind of really what leads to most of the second half of the movie even happening in the first place. I thought he was incredible in this film. He may have been my favorite character, honestly. He was so great. There's one scene in particular that really blew my mind where you've probably heard some people talk about this one sequence in the film where Sammy is singing, playing his guitar, and I don't want to go into too many specifics even though the movie's been out for a while, but there's a little bit of original lore about music and spirits created for this film that's explained in the opening minutes. And this one sequence, it's all one take, and it essentially brings that lore to life. It shows it happening, and it is incredibly well shot, incredibly well made. And Ryan Coogler puts his blood, sweat, and tears into this sequence and really every scene of this movie. It is amazing, and it's one of my favorite sequences of the film. It's the one scene that I cannot wait to see again. Now, the thing that I really loved about Sinners is what they were able to do with their budget. Sinners was given a $90 million budget, and that's one of the highest budgets for an original movie in a handful of years, really. There's always a lot of original movies coming out every single year. Of course, you have studios like A24 and Neon to thank for that, but many of them are very low budget to maybe mid-budget films. Sinners has quite a high budget for an original movie. It was kind of a risk for Warner Brothers, and I think it absolutely paid off. You can tell that Sinners earns every single dollar of its budget from beginning to end, every single frame. You can tell you are watching a high-quality film that puts its budget where it matters, and it's just very well crafted and very well made, and it's so pleasing to watch. The cinematography and the costume design in this movie are absolutely gorgeous. I wasn't able to see the movie in IMAX like many people suggested, and I so wish that I could have to see I already loved what they were able to do with cinematography on just a regular theater screen. Seeing it in IMAX, I think, really would have taken it to that next level. It looks beautiful. The film, it is visually stunning. Now, the big part of this movie that was kind of left out of the trailers, it's hinted at here and there in the teasers and the trailers, if you saw those. But the really big thing that they almost didn't show you is the music. If you're going into this movie expecting an action-filled, non-stop thriller vampire horror, that's not what this is. It's the thing that I truly loved about this movie that really drew me to it was its exploration of music, and really, more specifically, blues music. Music is not just a part of Sinners, it really is Sinners. Music is the DNA of this film. It is full of live performances, almost like a musical, that had me tapping my feet in my chair. It was all incredible, and the vampires are great, don't get me wrong. When it turns into full-on vampire horror, it's amazing. But I would have watched 2.5 hours of just the musical sequences alone. And underneath every single scene of this movie is Ludwig Göransson's third Oscar-winning score. I truly believe the man will be collecting his third trophy for this movie. The score has not left my mind since seeing the film. It's incredible. Now, like I kind of just mentioned, vampires are only a piece of the puzzle that makes up Sinners. It is so much more than that. It is part crime. It's got a dash of romance. It's a little bit of a musical at times. There's even certain elements of a Western thrown in. Maybe that was just me thinking that, but Ryan Coogler is able to blend all of these genres, all of these tones into a perfect cocktail that shouldn't taste good, but it ends up being the best thing you've tasted in a really long time, and not many directors could have done it. I think one of the things that impressed me most about Sinners, it's able to tackle a lot. And if you were to write down on paper all of the things that I just mentioned, everything that this movie really is, you would look at it and say, this is not going to work. You're too ambitious. You're trying to do too much. But it feels natural. It flows smoothly. Ryan Coogler is able to hint at what's to come throughout the film, and he makes it work. He blends it so well. He gives us crumbs before giving us the whole loaf of bread. So when that final act does come, it works and it's a satisfying payoff. In less competent hands, this movie would not have worked. I think the tones would have been all over the place. The genres would not have mixed well, but Coogler is such a talented filmmaker that he's able to pull it off perfectly. Another thing that's pretty impressive is the fact that this is Ryan Coogler's very first original film, originally written and directed by him. All of his other films have either been based on a true story like Fruitvale Station or entries in franchises like Creed and the Black Panther movies. So after seeing this movie, I love what he did with Black Panther and with Creed, but I really hope that he decides to stick with original movies because it's proving to be a big win for him and for Warner Bros. And I think he absolutely knocked it out of the park on his first try. Sinners is exactly the kind of movie that I have been wanting a lot more of. An original story with an ambitious, different, new idea, with a top-tier director working at the height of his powers. A high budget is able to take bold chances and swing for the fences, and it pays off. Sinners is the kind of movie that will remind you why you love going to the movies. And I think it will I hope this movie urges studios to take more risks and trust their filmmakers more to tell stories like this. I think it's a movie that's going to inspire generations in the years to come to pick up their own camera and tell their own stories. And it's the kind of movie that inspired me, why I want to be a filmmaker so badly. And that is exactly why I loved it so much. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on Sinners. This was a bit of a longer review than usual, but I truly did love this movie. It is without a doubt my favorite movie of the year so far. And as of right now, I think it's my pick for the best movie of the year. Like I said, I'm not going to fully label it that just yet. I have many other movies coming out this year that I'm super hyped for, can't wait to see, and I'm just very curious to see where this movie lands when we come to the end of the year. So what did you think of this movie? Let me know down in the comments below. What's your ranking of Ryan Coogler's movies? I have a video on that coming soon as well. And until my next video like this one, subscribe to my channel and keep watching movies.